We are live February 7th, 2026. We are a day away from the Super Bowl. And we're here. We're live talking Dynasty as always, because Dynasty never stops. But also we'll talk a little bit of Super Bowl if you guys want any bets or predictions or all that other stuff. And here solo today, maybe just for 30, 45 minutes. We'll see how it goes here. But of course, if you do have Dynasty questions and whatnot, please drop them in the chat. Always happy to talk Dynasty here. But yeah, Super Bowl tomorrow. I know some people are kind of like, I don't know, maybe not as excited for the Super Bowl as I think it's because, we just didn't predict this matchup, right? Like we didn't predict this matchup. And so maybe it doesn't have like the star power as others, but I think it could be a good Super Bowl. I also think there's a good chance, in my opinion, that this could be a blowout. So we'll see what happens here. If it is a blowout, I think it's in the Seahawks' favor. If the Patriots are going to win, I think Patriots win close or Seahawks win big. That's kind of how I'm seeing this Super Bowl. But you never know. I hope we get a good game. Not like last year. That will be 2 years in a row with some blowouts there. So even the NFC West puts the rivalry aside, all for one. Yeah, that is true. I mean, the Sam Darnold story is hard, like that. It seems like a Hollywood type of story, right? Like flamed out in New York, was kind of left for dead, went to Carolina, lost his job, had a great season with Minnesota until the last 2 games of the year. And he gets booted out of Minnesota, even coming off the best season he had up until that point. Seattle takes a chance on him, or, Seattle signs him, and here he is. He's in the Super Bowl, and he's playing the team where his infamous "I'm seeing ghost" comment, he was playing the Patriots when he made that comment, right? All the way back in whatever year that was, 18, 19. The "I'm seeing ghost" comment came after a game against the Patriots. Obviously, it's a different Patriots team, but still, it's a little storybook, right? And honestly, I know people are still saying oh, but it's Sam Darnold. Man, he's had a couple huge games that both of them against the Rams, and he's performed, man. He was, in my opinion, the main reason why they won the NFC championship game was because of Sam Darnold. He played maybe his best game of the year, or one of, the best games of the year against the Rams there a couple weeks ago. So Sam Darnold rushing touchdown legendary. Let's watch that. Yeah. If we got any bets you guys like, any prop bets and stuff, I was kind of looking over some of them. I can't bet where I'm at, and I'm not a big bettor anyways, but I like the Seahawks, obviously. I think I mentioned that Seahawks to win. So I don't know what I'm trying to find the spread right now. I don't know what the spread is right now, but you guys can let me know what it is or not. But I like the Seahawks and the points. I think last I heard it was 4.5. I don't know how much that's changed. So again, I don't gamble. I can't even gamble where I'm at. So I don't know, all the best places to find it, but I do like the Seahawks in this game. I always like to choose Super Bowl MVPs and stuff like that, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Trying to rebuild in Zeus and looking to sell McBride and Cook to do so. Do you have any ideas? Yeah, I mean, what I'll say about that, and you're right, it's the dead period right now of Dynasty. I feel like post Super Bowl, pre NFL draft is when things start to pick up a little bit more with trades. As we get closer to the draft. So one thing is to be patient and stuff like that. McBride and selling McBride, I think I saw this recently, but I'm pretty sure in Zeus, McBride was the most valuable player in that league. So you should be kind of valuing McBride as the most valuable player potentially in the entire league. I'm going to double check here. Yeah. So wins above replacement was 2.4 wins above replacement. McCaffrey was second at 2.38, and then Josh Allen at 2.22. And Jonathan Taylor 2.21. So McBride was more valuable than every player in Zeus. Yeah. Every single player. Also, you could probably say like the value that he brings is even more enhanced because you look at tight end 2 last year. So tight end 1 was McBride, 2.4 wins above replacement. Tight end 2 was Kyle Pitts, and the drop-off from McBride to Pitts was huge, 1.4 wins above replacement. So he was literally a full win, war point ahead. Am I back? Hopefully I'm back. I had some internet. It was weird. I didn't really have internet problems, but it was showing internet problems. Hopefully I'm back. Let me know in the comments, guys, if I am back. And we'll keep looking at these here. So, but yeah, so McBride is the most valuable player in the league, seemingly, right? All right, I'm back. Awesome. So let me show you what I wanted to show was the war tool here. And so like you see, this is for Zeus. You see the drop off from McBride to Kyle Pitts is insane. That drop off, and Kyle Pitts was the second most valuable tight end. So you can make an argument that like, I mean, yeah, like here's Christian McCaffrey, and basically McCaffrey and Bride were even, right? But you can make the argument that because the drop off from McBride to tight end 2 was so massive compared to McCaffrey to JT, and you see the drop off there, not as much, you can make it even a bigger case to his value. So I would value him that way. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess the answer is like, be patient. Don't force a trade. And, when it comes to someone like James Cook, do realize that running backs are way more valuable in Zeus than wide receivers. Here's the wide receiver line, and here's the running back line. And you can just see how much they dominate. Like wide receiver 1 was not even, that was like, look at the difference between wide receiver 1 and running back 1 in this league. Now, wide receivers weren't as good, but Puka had a huge year. And he wasn't even close. I mean, he was equivalent to running back 7 in this league. So value these guys as huge pieces. You're going to have to, we'll see, but I think wait as we get closer to the draft, and people are going to be much more willing to make trades, I think. So I know we were talking a little bit there, Benjamin, and yeah, he was a sports car in the trailer park car of this meme. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But I mean, you add a couple more pieces to your team, and you don't have, it's not too crazy to see you kind of turn it around here. So Super Bowl. We were talking a little bit about Super Bowl. Any other dynasty questions? Ask us, guys. But Super Bowl MVP is always a bet. Like I like to make if I can make a bet. So this year you have Darnold and May, of course, are the top two. JSN's next. Kenneth Walker, Ramondre Stevenson. Those are your top 5 MVP odds. A couple players I really, really like is Travion Henderson at plus 7,500. This is according to DraftKings, plus 7,500 for Travion Henderson. I really like throwing a shot on him as Super Bowl MVP, only because I feel like if the Patriots are going to win, they're going to need some explosive plays. Like they're going to need someone like a Travion Henderson to bust off a 50-yard run or something. And to me, he's really the only, I mean, him and like Booty, maybe like Booty can make a field down the field play or something, but you know, Travion Henderson's probably their most explosive player. So I feel like if the Patriots are going to win, a good chance that the Patriots win is if they get like, you know, someone like a Travion Henderson really going off. And then I really like Rashid Shaheed. He's plus 3,000. So he's actually the you know, after the top guys, Darnold, May, JSN, Walker, Ramondre. So starting quarterback, starting running backs in JSN. Rashid Shaheed's the next guy for Seattle, plus 3,000. I kind of like that too, though, because of his special teams work that he can do. You know, does he return a punt? Plus, he plays on offense a lot. Like he can make a play on offense. He makes a play on offense, and he makes a big play in the special teams game. You know, we can easily see him being a big or a Super Bowl MVP, in my opinion. So those are two that, besides the obvious ones, obviously the safe bet is Darnold and May. But if you're just like throwing $10 on something, like why not throw $10 on Travion Henderson? You know, plus 7,500. So that would return to you 750 basically. So kind of like it. Again, I'm not a gambling expert and I can't make bets, but I don't mind making that bet at all. Now it is tough to see if the Seahawks win, Darnold not getting MVP, right? Because of like the story behind it all. It is a little bit tough to see that. So I also think it's interesting. Like, do we get a defensive player? Like these are two good defenses. This could be a low scoring game. Do we get a defensive player that can kind of do something here? So Marcus Jones for the Patriots is pretty. So basically, it's May, Ramondre, Diggs are the top 3 for Super Bowl MVP, and then Marcus Jones is the next for the Patriots. So you know he plays on defense. He's obviously can be elite in the return game as well, punt returns in particular. So you know, kind of the same idea with Shaheed there with Marcus Jones. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Super Bowl and your predictions, and are you making any bets and stuff like that? There's always those, you know, crazy Super Bowl props and stuff like that. So, yeah. What else? Wow, man, they have a lot. I'm just looking at like all the bets that they have here. They have a lot of stuff that you can do. It's kind of, they have cross sport specials. Which will be greater, New England points Patriots scored in the Super Bowl, or Karl Anthony Towns points scored? Like that's crazy, man. That's just crazy that you can make bets like that. Which will be greater, Drake May rushing yards or Anthony Edwards points plus rebounds plus assists? Like that's it's just like who's actually doing those bets? I guess someone's doing them, or else they wouldn't be having those out there. So Walker line for total yards is over 100. Seriously? Wow. Over 100? That's kind of crazy. Where can I find these player specials, right? Or player props? Man, some of these are hilarious. So Kenneth Walker's rushing yards, 100. Wow. Yeah, I would be hammering the under for sure on that. Total yards, yeah. I mean, even obviously rushing yards, but even total yards, I would hammer the under. I mean, Patriots are getting back a couple of defenders. Milton Williams is probably, the biggest, literally and figuratively, one. And like when he's out there, I think when he's out there, and maybe it was someone else, but I know when Milton Williams was healthy this year and played, and he played in 12 games. I think I heard that the Patriots never gave up. The longest rush they gave up was 12 yards. Yeah, that's like crazy that he's there. I think it was Spillane, when Spillane and Milton Williams were playing, that the Patriots' longest rush they gave up was 12 yards. Like, wow. So yeah, I would be hammering the under there for sure. Let me see if I can pull up rushing and receiving. Yeah, Kenneth Walker, 98. That's crazy. Insane. His rushing yards are 70. I think it's like setting the over-under at 70. Ramondre at 50, Drake May at 30, Travion at 19, I kind of like. I know they haven't really used him too much in the Super Bowl. I just feel like if they're going to win this game, they're going to need a guy like Travion to really produce here. So Travion, 9, 12, and 3 carries in the playoffs. He's gone over 20 two of the 3 games in the playoffs. I kind of like Travion over 19 yards there rushing. I think I would, put that as part of my parlay bet or something. So, any others I like? Sam Darnold, 5.5. I mean, Marv said Sam Darnold rushing touchdown. So, I mean, if he's going to get a rushing touchdown, good chance he goes over 5.5, right? Not guaranteed, but what has his rushing been in the playoffs? Wow. I kind of like, oh no, never mind. He had 0 and 9. I thought he had 18 and 25. That was his sack yards. Darnold, what are we thinking about Darnold going over 5.5 rushing yards? I don't mind that at all. Don't mind that at all. Rashid Shaheed, they have at 4.5. Has he been getting carries? At least one carry in the playoffs? He's had 3 carries in the playoffs, Rashid Shaheed. He had 9 in the regular season. He averaged 7.7 yards per rush in the regular season. In the playoffs, he's averaged 9 yards per attempt. I kind of like Rashid Shaheed also over 4.5. If he gets a carry, I think he hits that. Probably. I mean, of course, he can get 0 yards, but I think there's a very good chance if he gets 1 carry, he hits that. He's had 3 in 2 games, 3 carries in 2 games. So, yeah. AJ Barner, he's their tush push guy, right? So if they do a successful tush push is essentially like what you're betting on with AJ Barner, because he's over under half a yard. Yeah. Interesting stuff there. So Sam Darnold movie would be awesome with all the outsiders talking down on him, fan slander. Great movie. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. And again, the fact that he's playing in the Super Bowl against the team where I think when people think of Sam Darnold, at least up until this point, they think of I'm seeing ghosts. I mean, you guys know my brother, who's not here today, but who joins us. He dressed up on Halloween one year as like Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. Like that's how like in the media it was for football fans. And he's literally playing the team where that, the Patriots, where that comment came, after the game against the Patriots. Like it's just, you can't write it better, man. You cannot write it better. And again, it's not like he's being carried. Like Sam Darnold won them that game, that NFC Championship game against the Rams. The defense let up a lot of points. Defense let up 27 points to the Rams. Darnold was awesome in that game. So Sean's here. Nice, Sean. Glad you're here. Yeah, we're just talking a little bit of, obviously, Dynasty. If you have any questions, always drop those, guys, in the chat. But just talking a little bit of Super Bowl. Will be a shorter one today, most likely, and stuff like that. Halani is nice. Yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, my only issue with George Halani, so he's over under 10.5 rushing yards, is like, I'm not 100% sure, like, what's stopping the Seahawks from literally giving Kenneth Walker every single carry. They don't have to worry about next week. They don't have to worry about hurting him. I mean, obviously, I don't think he can get every carry because he needs a break. So Halani had 3 carries the first game without Zach Charbonnet against the Rams. He had 4 yards. So his over under is 10.5. So you're basically saying, is he going to get? Yeah, I don't know if he is going to get Sharp's touches though. Is the problem, right? Like they didn't do that last week with Halani. I mean, he had the three catches. So if you're talking about rushing and receiving props, then I don't mind that. Let's see, rushing and receiving over under for George Halani is 26.5. In the one game without Charbonnet, he had 3 catches and 3 carries. He had 31 total yards. So I just don't know. Like, again, it's not the regular season, right? It's not the regular season. It's the last game of the year. I don't know what's necessarily stopping. Plus, Kenneth Walker's also a free agent. Like, what's stopping them from literally just giving Kenneth Walker, if they can, every single touch? So I don't mind the over/under receiving yards for Halani, or rushing receiving at 26.5. I don't know if I love the rushing yards. I mean, again, if you think he's going to get 3 carries and average 3.5 yards per carry, right? Then you're kind of bang on there with his over/under. So Halani is a sleeper. He's third to great running backs like Sharp and Walker. They were premier coming into the respective drafts. Yeah. I think I would definitely be stashing Halani in Dynasty because, again, you have Charbonnet coming off an ACL and you have Kenneth Walker as an unrestricted free agent, and they could get outbid for him. So Halani could be someone that is, really something here. So, but yeah, any other props that I like here, just over-unders and stuff? I would go under on Kenneth Walker, 97.5 total yards. I would go over on Travion Henderson's either rushing or total yards. Rushing is his rushing yards is 18.5. I would go over on that. I would go over on Rashid Shaheed, 4.5 rushing yards, because they've given him 3 carries in the 2 playoff games. If he averages over in the regular season over 7 yards per attempt on a carry. So literally, you're kind of saying if he gets a carry, there's a very good chance he goes over that 4.5 yards there. So, and I kind of like Darnold over 5.5. He could be a little bit on the run here. So let's see. What is Drake Mays? Drake Mays at 35.5. Oof, that's a little high. I know he's gone over 60 or 65 in both the last 2 playoff games, or maybe it's every single playoff game here. Here are my current wide receivers in Dynasty Championship team. Cortland Sutton, Luther Burden, Romeo Dobbs, Mooney, Turpin, Tesla, Bond. I have the 108, 111, 112. Give me some options to upgrade this position. So if you're going to stick and pick, you are potentially looking at the 108, probably one of either Concepcion or Boston Falls. Let me think about this. So if it's a super flex league, you're going to have, obviously, Love, Mendoza, the three receivers in Lemon, Tyson, and Tate. So that's the first 5 picks. There's probably going to be a running back taken in the second round that's going to get into the first round of rookie draft. So that's 6. So, yeah, you're probably looking at Concepcion or Boston there if you stick and pick at the 108. If you're looking to trade those players, I mean, for the 108, besides the obvious guys, I would trade the 108 for guys like McConkey, Marvin Harrison still, if you believe in him. I think he is. A.J. Brown, I think he's 100% a buy low. Can you get A.J. Brown for one of those, even 111 or 112? Like, A.J. Brown, and I just put out a video of like Dynasty startups and players that I like targeting. A.J. Brown, and this surprised me when I saw it, was the wide receiver 11, both in total points and points per game last year. The wide receiver 11. He's currently being, in Keep Trade Cut, valued as the wide receiver 23. In Dynasty startups, he's being valued around wide receiver 17 or 18. Like, he was literally wide receiver 11. He's 28 years old. He'll be 29 before the season starts. So, like, I can still see 2 wide receiver 1 seasons for A.J. Brown. And he could get traded. That's the whole thing here, is like, if he sticks with the Eagles, well, okay, we've seen him, his 3 years with the Eagles, we've seen him as a top 5 guy and then as a top 12 guy the last 2 years, if he sticks with the Eagles. If he gets traded, he's literally leaving the team who over the last 2 years has thrown the least amount of passes. So he's going to go to a better situation. I would assume the only teams that are going to be trading for a 29-year-old A.J. Brown are going to be guys like the Patriots or the Bills, or maybe a team like the Chargers. Do they go out and get like an alpha number 1? Like, I would assume it's contending teams with good quarterbacks that are going to trade for A.J. Brown. And so what if he goes to the Bills? What if he goes to the Patriots? What if he goes to fill in the blank with this team? His value is going to like double, right? So I think he is one of the most obvious buy lows. So if I would even spend the 108 and get A.J. Brown personally, because I think he can have 2 elite seasons, and I'll take 2 elite seasons on a championship team over a prospect like a Denzel Boston or Casey Concepcion in the draft. I know maybe not a lot of people agree with that, and that's fine, but I would package the 111 and the 112 for a guy like A.J. Brown. So the 108, I'd probably stop around like T. Higgins for the 108. BTJ, maybe, if you want to be the cutoff there. The 111, 112, I'll happily go down as far as just like straight up picks. I'll happily go down as far as like a Jalen Waddle, even a Jordan Addison. Again, in this year's draft, I think it's worth it because like the 111, 112, it gets sketchy. I kind of like this year's draft up until the 110, especially if it's a tight end premium league. Because again, you have those top 5 guys. You have, I'll count them out again. You have Love in no particular order. Love, Mendoza, Lemon, Tate, Tyson. And then Concepcion and Boston should be first-round picks at the wide receiver position. You're going to get at least one other running back that's going to go in the first round. Jonah Coleman, Jadarian Price, potentially 2. Kenyon Sadiq in a tight end premium. So we're at 9 there. We add another running back on top of Love and then, the RB2. That's 10. If Ty Simpson goes in the first round, that's 11. Like you can see the first round being, we're pretty optimistic about it. Plus there's other receivers that could go, early second round or to a good team in the second round. But it's still a little bit of a weaker draft. So for the 111, 112, I would go down to guys like Waddle, Zay Flowers, that range of guys. It gets a little bit sketchy for me, like Michael Wilson, Jaden Higgins, Ricky Pearsall, Metcalf. Like Pearsall, I think, is intriguing for one of those picks. But guys like Wilson, Higgins, Christian Watson, these are kind of the next guys after Jalen Waddle and Addison. I think I would probably just hold or I'd want a little bit more. Like, give me Christian Watson and a late second round pick in 27, then I would do that trade. So yeah, those are some players I'd be looking at if you're not going to stick and pick. I don't know. At the 111, 112, you could get a guy like your boy Jacoby Lane. You could get maybe like who else could go there? Elijah Surratt could potentially be there. I'm kind of starting to like Omar Cooper. Chris Bell is another one. He could be a nice pick there at the 111, 112. So also, if you really want to make a push, like, can you package the 108 and one of those other, 111 or 112 and move up into the top 5? If you can get into the top 5, I guess it depends on how the draft goes, but there's a very good chance you're getting one of those top 3 receivers, unless it goes Love and then the 3 receivers, and then you're sitting there with Mendoza. But can you go 108, 111, move up into the top 4, top 5? And then you get one of those stud receivers, which I think those guys could be really, really good. That's an option too. But you definitely need help. You definitely need help at the receiver position there, Sean. Who should we rather target this year? Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, or Blake Corum? Or are there any other running backs from the 24 class who haven't popped yet that we should target? So of those 3, okay, so I'll tell you my worries about these guys. Jonathan Brooks is just, the guy hasn't played football since 2020. Would it be 2023 that he hasn't played football? Oh, no, he got into a 24 game, right? The guy's had 9 carries. He's carried the ball 9 times since, wait for I'm giving you the exact date. Since November 11, 2023. So we're literally going to go damn near 3 years. We'll say 2.5 years. And the guy's carried the ball 9 times. He tore his ACL in the same knee twice, right? So we just don't know physically where he's at. Now, I'll say this. Jonathan Brooks was my favorite running back from that class. And it kind of wasn't even it was him and Bucky Irving. Those were my 2 from the 24 class. I liked Trey Benson, but I really liked Jonathan Brooks and how he ran the ball. Kind of like Le'Veon Bell-esque, right? The problem is, again, the injury there. Trey Benson, I am 100% out on Trey Benson given his cost. Now, basing this off of cost, because, again, you go and look, like Jonathan Brooks is like buried. He's RB 50. Like he should not be expensive at all. That being said, Jonathan Brooks not even 23 years old yet. That's kind of crazy. Buried in Dynasty. So at cost, I'm basing this all at cost here. I'm out on Trey Benson. He's RB 30, right? So he's around good players. Rico Dowdle, Algier, Chuba Hubbard, Tootin, and stuff like that. Like he's around those players, right? Speaking of, I thought I saw something on Tootin earlier. Maybe not. So he's still a very valuable running back. I'm kind of out on him for a couple reasons. One, he hasn't really played at all. He seemingly can't stay healthy, right? He's had in his career 92 carries in the NFL. He had his opportunity last year. He gets hurt. Now you have a whole new coaching staff coming in. They're not going to be tied to Trey Benson whatsoever. James Conner is still under contract, and don't sleep on James Conner having one more good year. I wouldn't be shocked if the team, because James Conner is just a good running back. So I would not be shocked at all. James Conner, who'll be 31 this year, if he has a RB2 year next year. So I'm kind of out on Trey Benson at cost, given that we haven't seen it yet. We're going on his 3rd year, and we have a whole new coaching staff coming in, a coaching staff that did not draft him. And then there's Blake Corum. I'm a big Kyren guy. I think Kyren is perpetually one of the most underrated running backs in Dynasty. I don't see Kyren going away. Kyren is awesome. He's been I mentioned this in the video. You would be hard pressed to find if you take the average of the last 3 seasons in points per game finishes. I would be very surprised if there's many people better than Kyron over the last 3 years. RB2 in 2023, RB9 in 2020. Is it either RB9 or 7 in 2024? And then I think he was like RB11 this year. I don't think there's anyone that has been 3 straight years in points per game in the top 12. I mean, maybe there's a couple, maybe like Derrick Henry or something. But there's not many guys. I don't see Kyron going away. He's only 25 years old. So my issue with Corum is I think he's still going to just kind of be behind Kyron Williams there. So at cost, crazy enough, I actually think that Jonathan Brooks is the one to go get. Again, at cost. Who has the best year next year? I would guess, my guess would be Blake Corum has the best year next year. But at cost, I think I would go for Jonathan Brooks because he's still young. He was a pretty, decent draft capital. And we're entering a situation with the Panthers where Rico Dowdle is a free agent, and they could move on from Chuba Hubbard's contract. I looked at Chuba Hubbard's contract here. He signed a 4-year, $33 million contract, but I can't pull up the specifics here. But they have an out after this year. They can get out of it if they want to. I don't know if they can save a crazy amount of money on him, but I know they could save some money on him. So, for some reason the website Spotrac is down right now, and I can't pull it up how much they can actually save for his. So if anyone else can, let me know. But they could get out of that contract if they wanted to. So there's a path there for Jonathan Brooks to actually be a starter next year. So now, is he physically able to? I don't know, but there's a path at the very least. So weirdly enough, I think it's Brooks based off of just, again, the cost of him. So other running backs from the class that haven't popped, let me just pull up the draft real quick here. So we have Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, Corum. Oh, Marshawn Lloyd. He's like a Kendre Miller one. I really liked Marshawn Lloyd coming out of that class. I thought he had really good underlying metrics. I wouldn't mind taking a shot on him. I mean, I have to imagine he's way down. He's RB77. Don't mind taking a shot on Marshawn Lloyd. Packers, if I remember correctly, both Emmanuel Wilson and Brooks are free agents. Yeah, maybe they're not free agents, but Marshawn Lloyd is someone, just because I really liked his underlying metrics there, and he's so cheap right now. Don't mind taking a stab at him. Jalen Wright as well. There could be something there. That's really about it. I mean, you have guys like Will Shipley. I don't really see it happening. Ray Davis is what he is right now, right? He's a handcuff. I think if he ever gets the opportunity, he could be awesome. But I think everyone's just viewing him as a handcuff to James Cook. Garendo, who knows? Isaiah Davis is another one. He's on the Jets. Everyone thinks of Braylon Allen as the main guy. I actually think Isaiah Davis is a better all-around running back than Braylon Allen. So if Breece Hall leaves and they don't find a replacement for him, Isaiah Davis is a sneaky one I like to stash. That's really about it, though. Rasheen Ali in deeper leagues. What do you think about Sadiq? Any chance he's Noah fan? Just looking at similar size and probably similar speed coming out of college. Both had issues with drops. Yeah, they did have issues with drops. Also, I would say Kenyon Sadiq was a little bit of a disappointment this year based on expectations. I think we expected kind of a bigger year than what he had going into the year with Oregon. So, he was obviously he was behind Terrence Ferguson in 2024. He still put up some numbers, but he was behind Terrence Ferguson in 2024. Terrence Ferguson goes in the second round of the draft. And then everyone thought, okay, here's Kenyon Sadiq's time, right? He's super athletic and stuff like that. When it comes to tight ends, and it's really unique for tight ends, to me, their athletic ability says a lot more than their just straight up raw numbers in college, right? If the combine matters in terms of fantasy relevant players, if the combine, if I had to choose one position where the combine matters the most for predicting future success, it is for tight ends. So I do want to see combine pro day numbers for him. Is there a very good chance that he is just Noah Fant? Yes, there is. Absolutely is. Did struggle with drops. He had in his 3 years at Oregon, a 9% drop rate, and that's 16.7 and 10.5. Like last year, he dropped 10.5% of his passes. That's way too high. That cannot happen, right? So I really do want to see the combine numbers, because if he becomes like a and again, is it going to necessarily translate over? No, but I do want to see those numbers in terms of, do I think he's going to make it into into the first round based off of those numbers? So Noah Fant kind of had like a nasty combine, like a good combine. His 40-yard dash, his vertical, his broad jump, his 3-cone, all that stuff was off the charts, which is kind of what pushed him into the first round, in my opinion. And again, how has that turned out? Well, he's been kind of a bust, right? I think he's been maybe slightly better than we think, but so I am very curious to see for the combine. So I like what I see, but I do feel like there was something like, why wasn't he better? To me, he should have been better. And he just wasn't. So that's a little bit of a problem, in my opinion, there. But yeah, what are they predicting for Kenyon Sadiq? Let's see what they're predicting for him to run in the 40. Also, I'm going to pull up an article here, and I want to hear it for you guys. All right, so let's see. The Kenyon Sadiq is 26 class tight end. Kenyon Sadiq is predicted to run a 4.55. I think that's exactly what. Noah Fant ran a 4.5 flat. So, there's an interesting article on PFF. If you type in, what I typed in was PFF into Google, PFF combine drills that matter. And basically they look at the combine drills that show the biggest predicted, they predict the wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends, running backs, which combine drills predict the most success. And so like the 40, for example, is one of the most overrated, especially for a lot of positions. Like we always think of the 40. That's kind of like the big, big time drill that everyone looks at. So sorry, I'm just pulling it up here. So for running backs, the drills that actually are, so the ones that affect draft position the most are the 40, the broad jump, and the 3-cone. The ones that that actually matter the most for wide receivers is the vertical jump is one. So the vertical jump and the 10-yard split. 10-yard split is much more is a better predictive. It predicts better success than the 40-yard. the 10-yard split, because again, like how many people are running 40 yards in the NFL? It doesn't happen very often. It's much more likely to have a 10-yard route and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was the vertical, and actually arm and hand size are actually pretty important for wide receivers. Yeah, tight ends. The 40-yard is valuable. The 3-cone and the vertical. For running backs, it was the I forget exactly now, but I'll find this and I'll post it in the Discord, guys, if you're not in there. So up in the Discord. So I was trying to pull that up in the fly, and it didn't really work there. So Denzel Boston is one of the top receivers in this class. It should be a part of the big three. He has better hands than Tyson, and has as far as contested catch, is one of the highest grades I've seen versus man. Denzel Boston, to me, has an incredibly high ceiling. Incredibly high ceiling. My only issue, and again, I need to scout these guys more. But in terms of there's a couple things that with Denzel Boston that concern me just a little bit, but not too much. The things I love about him, he doesn't really drop the ball, like you said, better hands. Like his career in college, 3.6% drop rate. That's insane. I think anything under like 5 is really good. He's at 3.6, so I love that. His contested catch rate is off the charts. The highest in a single season that I see is 76.9%, which is insane. Like you literally catch three quarters of your contested targets. And yeah, he does win against man quite well. So I kind of agree with you. Also, another thing that I like about him is his contested target rate, which shows, in my opinion, your ability to get open. And his is at 19%, which is good. It's not great, but it's good. Anything over, I believe, well, from my research at least, anything over 22%, I think was the number, is starting to get like a little bit worrisome. Contested target rate, some wide receivers that didn't separate well over the last few years, like they separated or had a very high contested target rate. Trey Harris was over 30%, just could not separate in college. Who were some of the other ones of high drafted players? Marvin Harrison was at 27%, and that's kind of the MO with Marvin Harrison, is like he's not separating. Keon Coleman was another one. I was out on Keon Coleman because he just could not separate in college at all. Xavier Legette, Jalen Polk. These are some high drafted players that had a pretty high contested target rate. Some other players that had a low ones. Lad McConkey was up there, like incredibly low. Troy Franklin was up there. So it's not the be all end all. Like Puka Nacua had a pretty high contested target rate, if I remember correctly. Puka Nacua was pretty high. And also, that's kind of translated for Puka Nacua. Like, he doesn't separate a whole lot in the NFL. Maybe not as much as like we think, but the guy just makes every freaking catch. It's insane. So again, there's never going to be one number that's super predictive. But I like that Denzel Boston at least doesn't have a high rate. He doesn't have a low one, but he doesn't have a high contested target percentage. So I don't know. I don't think you're wrong in saying that, right? I don't think you're wrong in saying that. I am curious his speed numbers, not so much his 40, but his 10-yard split, because I think that could be a little bit low, and that might push him down just a little bit. He's a little bit too straight line, in my opinion, but there's not a lot to hate about the guy, that's for sure. So, yeah, I think I kind of do. Like, the production was there. Obviously, like, he was behind, Odunze, Jalen McMillan, Jalen Polk there for a couple years at Washington. But when he kind of took over as the guy, like, the guy produced at an insane rate. So I don't think you're wrong there, T-Zane. I really don't think you're wrong. now the more that I'm talking you through this and stuff. So I'm not talking you through it, but the more I'm talking through this. So yeah, I don't think you're wrong. My hot take, I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I kind of want to make Mekhi Lemon my number one wide receiver in this draft class. I kind of want to make it Mekhi Lemon. Like, he's so fun. I guess the knock on him is going to be the size. But again, that doesn't necessarily the guy doesn't play small. He plays like he's 6'5" or whatever. Like, he does not play small whatsoever. But yeah, I kind of want to make Mekhi Lemon my wide receiver one. He's yours. I don't think it's a hot take because he's already in the top three. I always see when I see mock drafts, I always see it's like Tate and sorry if there's a loud noise. My washing machine's going off. It's always Tate and Tyson. It's like those guys are like consistently drafted in the top 10, and then Mekhi Lemon's like in the top 20. I think he's my wide receiver one. I really like Casey Concepcion a lot. I think he's just a fun player. I think he can be very versatile. I think he can carry the ball. Like, he could be like a Debo Samuel-esque, not in terms of like comparison to the size, but to giving him carries and stuff, like using him creatively. Chris Bell, I like a lot because he's like a linebacker, but he plays wide receiver and he does not run like a linebacker. I really like Chris Bell as well. The only issue with him is he's coming off an ACL injury that happened pretty late in the year, November 22nd. Casey Concepcion does that. That is, yes, the drops are a concern. And I agree 100% with that. Like, are we looking at like a Kadarius Toney type of player here? And again, like I'm a little bit of a sucker for like these fun slot, versatile, quick twitch type of players. I am a sucker for those guys. Like, those are my receivers that I like. And they don't always, like, I was a big Xavier Worthy fan. Xavier Worthy hasn't played out quite how we expected. I was a big Matthew Golden fan. After year one, hasn't played out. Jeremy Bernard is another one that I'm very curious about. I see him consistently getting mocked in the early second round. He has a really good yards after catch. Like, he's kind of a yards after catch guy, a low drop rate. Contested catches can be good. He had a good season with 50%, but over his career, it's not so great. But he gets open. He gets open a lot. Him and Omar Cooper Jr. I really like Omar Cooper Jr. Starting to really kind of fall in love with him a bit because he gets open. 13% contested target rate, so he gets open, and he makes contested catches. So, like, not only is he getting open, but when he's not open, he's making contested catches. 66.7% in his career, contested catch rate for Omar Cooper. So, still looking for like the diamond in the rough guy. Still kind of looking for that guy. I know Ted Hurst is getting talked about quite a lot. So we'll see there what happens with him. But taking Cooper in the first and all of my rookie drafts early second. Yeah. And again, a little bit is going to depend on his draft capital, because I kind of see it all over the place right now. I think when all is said and done, Omar Cooper is going to be a second round pick or a day 2 pick in the NFL draft. And that could push me to take him maybe in the late first this year. Who knows? Bryce Lane. Yeah. So he went to a smaller school, North Dakota State, right? He has the size, right? The guy is he 6'5"? No, 6'3". I know we don't have we have kind of what they list, which are always, they tend to be off by a certain amount. 6'3" is what I'm saying. 6'3", 210. Doesn't have the speed, right? I think that's what kind of like put Christian Watson a little bit on the map there. Like, Christian Watson ran a 4.36, and teams fall in love with big, tall players who can run fast, right? Speed is, you just can't teach it. That's why guys like Tutu Atwell go in the second round. Xavier Worthy, Matthew Golden, first round picks. A lot of it's because of their speed, and you can't teach that stuff. And even the threat of the speed, whether or not the receiver is good, the threat of speed, you need it on your offense. If you don't have a speed threat, it really hinders your offense. So the issue with Lane is, I'm seeing predictions of him running maybe even a 4.6, and that's not good for receivers at all. His yards per route run through the roof, low drop rate, good contested catch. Didn't have he had a pretty high contested target percentage, 25%. So I like Bryce Lane, but I am curious where teams are going to go with him. And if he doesn't run well at the combine. So, but again, that's not the be all end all. Like if he gets into the 4.5s, I don't think it matters as much. If he can run routes or be a physical receiver and stuff, like then it doesn't really matter. But the burst off the line of scrimmage is going to be the concern. So again, it's going to be fun with the combine. I know it doesn't, a lot of people say it doesn't matter. I think it matters a little bit more than those people that say. I think it's somewhere in the middle, right? If you're a huge combine guy, it probably doesn't matter that much. If you hate the combine, I don't think it matters that little. I think it's somewhere in the middle to where it matters. And it matters because like teams draft based on the combine as well. So it's going to be fun to really start digging into some of these deeper prospects for sure. So, but yeah. Anyways, guys, I think we're going to take off. Meant to do it a little bit shorter today, but we obviously got talking, which I always love. We're going to start adding Sunday evenings into our slate here of live games and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys will join us for that. Obviously, not tomorrow, but after the Super Bowl and all that. So, rookies have been added into Sleeper database. Rookies, not all of them, but rookies have been added, which means live rookie mock drafts with you guys. So join us, T-Zane, Sean, Marvin, Benjamin, Kevin, all you guys that join us each and every week, as well as others. Like join us, start mock drafting live rookie mocks with us. That should be a lot of fun. So thank you. Appreciate you all. And enjoy the Super Bowl. Eat lots of food. Drink beer if you drink beer. Water if you drink water. Whatever it is you like to enjoy it. It's the last football game we have until real football game until September. So it's a long off season, so enjoy it. Hopefully it's a good one. And we'll catch you guys all Wednesday the 12th. I don't know what day it is, but we'll catch you guys on Wednesday.